I think we're live here. All right. What is up, everybody? Thank you for tuning in. We have some great guests in the house tonight. This is almost like a real show that's going to happen tonight. Let's get into this thing. Thank you for tuning in to the Matt Ramage Show, presented by Quick Trip. What is up, everybody? I want to welcome you to the show, and we have some good guests. All right, we got Matt, quarterback Matt. What? First of all, I'll go one at a time, and you guys can like say who you are, because most people follow me on Facebook don't know, and actually I don't know you personally. So we'll give you. We'll start with Matt. What's up, Matt? Who are you? What do you do? And why are you here?
Well, man, I'm glad to be here. First off, we got the best name on the planet, Matt. And, after our head coach, right? And obviously your show. But, I'm glad to be here and big Packer fan. My grandfather's been a fan since 1957. And really, he just instilled it to me when I was a little kid. And it was like if I was hanging out with Grandpa, the first thing he did was sit me on his lap and make me watch the Bart Starr Ice Bowl, quarterback sneak. And then it just kind of came from there and, followed Brett Favre and wanted to be like Brett Favre and played quarterback myself, played a little arena ball. And, man, it's just been something I've been passionate about. And I've always been a Green Bay fan. And it really just started with my grandfather. And then obviously growing up watching Favre, and now obviously 12's under center. And so, we've had some entertaining football in the last several decades. So,
yeah, we definitely have. So that is Matt. I appreciate you coming on. And now we'll go. Well, I don't know. Is this counterclockwise? I'm not even sure. This is like a new thing I'm trying. For everyone watching, this is the first time I use this type of live streaming platform. We're working on it. Oh yeah, I got to pay attention to the chat too. What is up, everybody? All right, now we got for everyone. For you guys, you've never been on my show. You might not ever watch. This is not a clean a well-run show. This is like we're gonna have a good time though. What's up, Joe? We got Joe, the Buffalo Bills fan over here.
Thanks for having me, Matt. Truly appreciate it. I am Joe, the host of the Beehive Sports Podcast, co-host. I do have another guy on there with me, Sketty. So I know it seems odd, Bills fan hanging out on a Packers podcast. Matt actually kind of took me under his wing when I first got my podcast up and running, answered a lot of my questions, helped me out with a lot. And we've had a lot of good conversations about football. So with that said, I do have like a secret crush on the Packers. I will never root for them against Buffalo, but I do cheer for them all the time. And I bought a share of stock this last go round. So I'm an owner. Matt, wanted to show this off real quick. I did rock the Diggs jersey because of some of those Vikings fans who like to come in your comments and troll hop on here. I just want to remind them that I'm really thankful that they unloaded him to Buffalo because, I know that they always say it's really leveled out because they got Justin Jefferson and, he's playing pretty well. Hasn't played any playoff games though, has he?
No, he has not. So that is Joe, the Bills fan. He got absolute great podcast, the Beehive podcast. Everyone should check it out. And we also have probably the best guest we have today. What is up? Let everyone know who you are and what you do.
I'm Danielle, and I hope you can hear me okay because I have the worst equipment right now. So a couple months ago, some people got a hold of me on Twitter and asked if I wanted to join one of their podcasts. And it's a NFC North podcast, so all four of us represent, like I would represent the Packers, and then the other three represent the rest of the division. So we just started that a few months ago, and that's my first go around at podcasting. So I'm just looking to get some practice, and I love talking about the Packers. I could do it every day, all day long. So yeah, that's about it. I'm just looking to just get some practice with the podcasting because I've never done it before in my entire life. And I appreciate you having me on.
Yeah, this is a perfect show to get practice because nobody watches. No, I'm just kidding. But we're gonna talk about all right. I want to talk about some Packers today. Like we got Matt on. He's got the X's and O's. Like he actually knows. He played a position in arena football. Everyone knows I know nothing about football. I just happen to have a podcast talking about it. But we're gonna have some fun. And also Joe being a Bills fan later on. I definitely want to talk about the AFC, but I want to talk about the NFC. Like how like what we think is gonna happen. Not only with the Packers and Niners, but like who we think the Packers are gonna face, because I'm just assuming the Packers are winning come Saturday because I'm gonna be there and they wouldn't dare lose in front of me. I think I've DM'd Aaron Rodgers. I told him that's not allowed. Not allowed to lose a football game. If I'm gonna be in the stands and I'm gonna freeze, I'm not coming that far. I'm not freezing in the stands to catch an L. But let's start with Matt. Like, what are the Packers? And I apologize, you got to have a logo on you, but that's the position that you're in. So you got Quick Trip right over there. But hey, Quick Trip over your shoulder is never a bad thing. But to you, what do the Packers have to do? Like everyone's talking this week about. First of all, it's annoying me. People are talking about, oh well, the Packers better do this to stop Niners. Like, dude, the Niners better do some stuff to stop the Packers. Like, the Packers are the number one seed. I feel like they're being disrespected a little bit because everyone's talking about, well, the Niners are the perfect matchup to beat the Packers. And I'm not saying that that's even wrong because they can run the ball well. And if you're going to look at one of the Packers' weaknesses, it's probably that. But it's not like the Packers are like some of these defenses that they had in the past where they can't stop the run. I mean, there's been games when it didn't work out as well, but there's some games, a lot of games where the Packers did good. I mean, they beat the Niners this year. I don't think you can look back too much at that because there's a lot of injuries and all that stuff. Different teams. That was really early in the season. But just like the Niners are a different team, so are the Packers. I think the Packers are better. The Niners are better. I don't know that you can compare that too much. But anyways, what do you? This is a very long-winded question. I'm like Pat McAfee over here. But what is the key for you? What do the Packers got to do to have me try to get NFC Championship tickets the following week?
Well, first off, I'll say in honor of the Quick Trip logo, I'll make sure I get gas over there this week. When I drive to the game, I'll make sure I do that in honor of you and your sponsorship. But no, I on a serious note, one thing that sticks out to me is the fact that our offensive line is more healthy this game as opposed to the last game. We had Yash playing left tackle in San Francisco. Now you get David Bakhtiari back. You got some more health now on that offensive line, more experience on that offensive line. My concern is obviously trying to stop the run. I know 2 years ago they pounded us, and Jimmy G only threw the ball 8 times. I think this is an obvious game where we have got to stack the box. And I don't care if you got to bring Amos and Savage down in the box. Obviously, having Zadarius back is going to be helpful because that even if he only plays 15 or 20 plays, that's a key name that the Niners are going to have to scheme around. They're going to have to say, okay, we got to prepare for different pass rush stunts that Z's going to bring that maybe, in the past was a Jonathan Garvin, and we're not having to worry as much. Like, no offense to Jonathan Garvin or anything, but Zadarius Smith is a former Pro Bowler. And, now you're talking about big perennial names, and Whitney Merciless coming in. He didn't play in that Niners game because he was still a member of the Houston Texans. There's more bodies now that the Niners are going to have to worry about. And if my honest opinion is the first quarter is going to tell me a lot because I think it's a battle for time of possession. Here you got Green Bay who wants to go down the field, get the ball in the end zone. You got the Niners who want to slow the game down. They want 10, 12, 15 play drives, use a lot of the clock, and keep 12 off the field. And I think if Green Bay can get up 14-0, put a little pressure on the Niners. See, everyone's talking about, well, the Niners were down 17-0 in LA. That's LA. This is Lambeau. It's going to be colder now. So I want to see what Jimmy G can do throwing the ball when he's down by a possession or two in Lambeau. But again, my biggest concern is Green Bay not so much getting beat by a team, but beating themselves. They've got to limit mistakes. They've got to absolutely be cautious on special teams, have the right personnel out there. And I want to see creativity from Joe Barry on defense. You got all these guys back. Let's see some creativity. Maybe Jair on a nickel blitz. Maybe Devondre Campbell's blitzing up the A gap right, behind the one technique. And with all these names coming back, it's going to be hard to double team Kenny Clark like a lot of people have been trying to do too. So,
yeah, and not to mention that Jimmy G has got a banged up. I think he's got it's a hurt thumb. And Aaron Rodgers today on Pat McAfee.
He's got
No, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say he's got the banged up thumb, and then he's got a sprained shoulder as well.
Oh yeah. So like, but even just like talking about thumb, because that shoulder, I think I just heard about that today. But like Rodgers was saying on Pat McAfee that like he never had a thumb injury except like I think he had a broken finger. I forget what finger it was, but back in college. But having a hurt thumb in a cold, I don't know, because like I've never like played anything, and if I hurt my thumb and it's cold, I go inside. That's just what I do. They have a game to play, so I can't imagine that doesn't help much. And I'll say, like, I just hope Jimmy G plays. Like which I think he will. I don't think that they're gonna, but like a rookie quarterback always scares me. I don't think they're gonna try to put a rookie quarterback out there in a playoff game unless they absolutely had to, which I don't think they will.
Read option stuff scares me a little bit.
But you know what I mean? Like having a rookie quarterback nobody knows, that traumatizes me more than anything with the 49ers running game. Yeah. Because like I've had flashbacks of like just quarterbacks that are unknowns, and then this is years ago or whatever, but just you like never know like what these guys can do. But
something to keep in mind too is Nick Bosa and Fred Warner both left the game against the Cowboys. Yep. So if neither of them two those are their two best players on defense by a long shot. So if those two are playing hurt or not playing at all, that's another advantage to Green Bay.
Yeah, like I didn't hear this. We got a comment coming in here. Says Jimmy G here in talks he may not start. Like I haven't heard that, but I wouldn't be surprised that people are talking about it. But that's not something I heard. Stop Debo, stop Kittle, stop the Niners. Aaron says up right there. Moving on. I like it. What do you got? I saw one report on it. One report I saw saying that he might not play, and apparently it's not a very trustworthy source. I would be very surprised. No. Like it's the playoffs. You want to go with the guy that got you there, and obviously like he's dinged up. But unless he like literally can't throw the football, like this is the playoffs. Like you're not gonna hand it off to a rookie. Like I could see like if they had a guy like Nick Foles, like a guy who's handled that playoff pressure but happens to be a backup, I could see then maybe you're not 100%. We got this guy that we trust, but you have a rookie that you don't know a lot about. I don't think that they want to hand it. Like and say unless it was like he can't throw the football. Like you're not gonna give it to a guy who just can't. But Danielle, first of all, am I saying your name right, Danielle? Yeah. Okay, yes. I want to make sure because I'm not good at reading, and I just want to make sure. I don't want to. I hate saying people's names wrong because I do it sometimes. Some of the different pronunciations, you know what I mean? But so to you, what do the Packers? I'll ask you the same thing. Like, what do you think has to happen for the Packers? Like, be honest, like stopping a run. Like, let's say like offensive wise, what do the Packers got to do to get it done against that Niners defense? Well, I'm hoping that these playoffs are going to run through A.J. Dillon. I think he's the key to this whole run. I think last year he was not used enough. I mean, we had Aaron Jones, so I understand why he was not used enough. But now that we're kind of seeing what A.J.'s talent is, I think he is the key to the whole operation. I just feel like when we get him going, the offense is unstoppable. They need to watch out for the mistakes that they made last year as well. Devontae dropped a pass in the end zone that he generally makes in his sleep. Take care of the ball. You take care of the ball and get the running game going. I just don't think there's much anyone can really do to stop Aaron. And with having Bakhtiari back, say we have to play Tampa Bay eventually. Hopefully we get to that point. I think that's going to be huge because I think that's a big reason to why we did not go to the Super Bowl, because Tampa's front is just so good, and not having Bakhtiari up there was detrimental. Yeah, I actually totally agree with that. David Bakhtiari being out last season really hurt the Packers. I don't know, like I hopefully, because he did not practice today, but I assume that they're just trying to save him from reps. Hopefully, he is 100. Like I don't know, and because the 49ers
they did say it was just. They said it was just management of some sort with Bakhtiari not practicing today.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, so like, because the Niners can get at the quarterback, and like the offensive line that Packers have put together has done the job for the most part, and bringing Bakhtiari into that, I think is just huge. Yeah, but like for the offensive wise, like if they could protect, because like the Niners did all these weird things. I'll ask Matt about this. Let's let's bring Matt over here because you know about protections and all that stuff. Playing quarterback in the Arena League, like what do the Packers got to do to protect Aaron Rodgers? Because I feel like if Aaron Rodgers is protected, he has time. Like obviously the Packers have to run the ball, and like Danielle said, and I absolutely agree with that. Get AJ Dillon involved, you know, little bruise some men a little bit, bust up there, but they got to protect Aaron Rodgers. If Aaron Rodgers has time, guys can get open. I think it doesn't matter what the Niners are doing because the Packers are going to be scoring touchdowns. So what do they got to do to protect Rodgers?
Yeah, I think like Danielle said, obviously it's got to start with AJ Dillon, Aaron Jones. You got to force those guys to, crowd the box a little bit. Obviously, 12 has the fastest release of his career, is what they were saying, I guess, as far as getting the ball out in time. And one thing that always gets rid of a pass rush is a quick release, quick decision making. And I heard somebody say one time that, to quicken your release, it's not, just a quick throwing motion. It's eliminating unnecessary steps and footwork, proper footwork. And that's one thing that 12 does is when he wants to make a decision, he gets rid of that ball and he throws it when he needs to get rid of the ball. I think, to be honest, what, I'm hoping is that with the cold, bad footing for the defensive line, because if it's cold and they're saying 50% chance of snow, if it's snowing, that honestly helps the offensive line as opposed to the defensive line, because the defense is having to time the snap already and then get off the ball and track down a quarterback. So really that already right there can help with, that stopping that Niners pass rush and having Bakhtiari back. And then I guess, Billy Turner practiced today. So it'd be interesting to see what they do with him. I've been telling people, I wonder if Green Bay is going to do an offensive line of having like Bakhtiari at left tackle, Runyon left guard, Myers at center, Lucas Patrick right guard, and then Billy Turner right tackle, or, shoving Lucas Patrick or Runyon at left guard, putting Turner at right guard, and going Dennis Kelly, the 9-year veteran who blocked for Derrick Henry in Tennessee, putting him at right tackle and using that big body. I mean, Dennis Kelly with the 2 starts he had this year was unbelievable. So, I think Green Bay really can't lose with the offensive line that they have, and the weather's obviously going to help. Rodgers has the quickest release in the game. And then I saw a stat, too, that the 49ers are I think it was 31st or 32nd in the league, so either second to last or dead last in the league at stopping teams with their number 1 wide receiver. I got a buddy who's a Titans fan, and he was telling me that A.J. Brown absolutely just destroyed the 49ers secondary.
He did.
We happen to have Devontae Adams. There's no reason. And if Scantling's playing, that's a deep threat. So that means the Niners, I expect them to do a lot of what they were doing against Dallas, playing a lot of cover 6, leaving the underneath open on the cover 4 side, and then, kind of a cover 2 side on the other half of the field. And I think underneath should be open all game. And if they decide to come up and stop Dillon, then it should be Scantling one-on-one. And, you have Devontae one-on-one. So it really, Green Bay just needs to be creative. I think a lot of 20 personnel, which is a 2 running back set, using Jones and Dillon in the backfield. Motion Jones on a swing route and either fake the handoff to Dillon and throw it out to him, or hand it off to Dillon when the linebacker bumps out to follow Jones on the potential pass play. LaFleur is going to have some creativity, and it's just a matter of, listen, this Niners defense is good, but I think they were better when Robert Saleh was their defensive coordinator.
Yeah, so I want to. I think that's a good point because I didn't know that about the Niners defense and stopping a number 1 wide receiver. And I know Joe is not a Packer fan, but he knows his football. He covers everything on his podcast. So what do you know about this Niners defense?
Well, what I was going to add actually is that I think just the key to the Pack winning this game is you have to eliminate Kyle Shanahan's game plan is the same every week. Run the ball, control the clock, and just keep pounding the ball down their throats. I think if the Pack gets up a couple scores, basically the short of it doesn't matter how many scores, a few possessions, the key is to make Jimmy throw. When you put Garoppolo into a position where he's going to throw, 30 or more times in a football game, that spells disaster for the Niners because he loves to turn the ball over.
Yeah, and then that is like what I've been saying like this week is make Jimmy throw. Like if the Packers can get a lead quick, and which the Packers aren't notoriously known for. First quarter, they kind of like, they're kind of like a cat playing with a mouse a little bit, and then they turn it on and they get it rolling. But like it's the playoffs, and they know that. Like I don't think anyone needs to tell them that. But if they can come out, especially against this 49ers team, because their running game is what they want to do. They don't want Jimmy G throwing the ball 35 times.
No.
If they throw the ball 35 times, they got stomped. Like I'll say, they got
that'd be my thought too. Is that if he gets to where he's throwing, close to 30 times in the game, that means they're chasing points, and that's a good thing for the Packers, especially in the weather. I really feel this game goes Green Bay's way pretty handily.
Yeah, I said this yesterday. Like, I'm like cautious a little bit about like saying the Packers are gonna put a whooping on them, because like every year I say that. I talk a lot of trash, but I actually think that the Packers, it depends. Like, don't make mistakes. Don't have like a punt return that gets bobbled and like you're giving up an easy possession or an easy touchdown. Like that is like my biggest pet peeve. And I don't think like I'm like the only person. Like I think every football fan, you're a Bills fan, like every fan in the league, every coach is don't give away a free touchdown. Don't give away a free possession. Don't fumble a punt. Don't like you watch that Cardinals game. Like he just like
Murray's throw.
He just like, yeah, here's a touchdown for you. Like he was like Oprah Winfrey over there. You get a touchdown. You get a touchdown. Like that is what we cannot do. No free. Make them earn every single point. Make them earn every single yard. And I want to point out real quick because Jacob Westendorf was asking what's going on the TV here. This is a Roku screensaver. I'm trying to figure out because this is my scoreboard. Like when I do game streams, but I got to figure out how to put like my logo there, a Packer logo, something, because that doesn't look good. That's why I'm trying to stay away from my single shots because it doesn't look good. But this room is like a week old. I just set this up. All right, give me some time to set stuff up, people. But yeah, that is what I think. Like, don't give away anything free. Make them earn everything. And
one thing I will say that concerns me a little bit, and you mentioned this earlier with the rookie quarterbacks. I worry a little bit about them deciding to go with Trey Lance in the red zone and saying, let's run some read option. Let's keep, Green Bay guessing. And I mean, obviously if we put, if they put Trey Lance in the game, we should obviously know like some sort of read options come in. I mean, we kind of had trouble defending that in San Francisco, and that does concern me just a little bit. But I do think having a veteran like Whitney Merciless is so key. I mean, I cannot believe he came back when he got injured, because I was at the Seattle game that he got injured in mid-November, and a torn bicep is usually a 6 to 8 month process of rehab. And this man's now back within 2.5 months. I mean, the dedication, the rehab he had to put himself through to come back is amazing. It shows me he wants it. I think you're going to see a lot more snaps out of Whitney Merciless than you might even see out of Za'Darius, just because you got to keep in mind, Za'Darius hasn't played since week 1 or practiced since week 1. And Whitney has been playing all season. And I really saw our defense kind of go downhill when Whitney got injured. And when he was playing, that 3-week stretch that we had, I mean, he didn't play in the Arizona game, but we had him in the Kansas City game and the Seattle game. And our defense was playing lights out both those games.
So let me ask you this real quick.
I got a point too.
Oh, no, go ahead. Then I'll get back to that.
Okay. But before I forget, I also think that if we win the coin toss, I feel like we should just take the ball. I want to see them coming out fast, as fast as they can to stop the 49ers from being able to run. I just want to get out there and score and just set the tone to eventually have to make Jimmy throw the ball. I know they like to defer, and I understand being able to double up in points, but I really think they should just get out there and start first if they get the opportunity.
I agree with that.
I actually agree with that because you get a lead, and then that's what you want to do. You want to get that lead. You want to get ahead and stay ahead, and hopefully get a turnover and get whatever, so you can get a bigger lead, and then and try to stop that run, because like stopping the run it is the key. Like it's do not let them run, and the higher they can get ahead, the less they can run. Like that's just basic stuff. I'm not like breaking news over here.
So funny bit to add to Danielle's point. As I said in my little intro there, my co-host is a Niners fan, and he was actually texting me during the Dallas game when Dallas won the coin toss and deferred, and he literally texted me that plays right into the 49ers game plan. You're giving them the ball first. They're going to try and run it. They want a good 7-8 minute drive to start the game, take up half of the first quarter before the opposing offense even sees the field. That's what they like to do. So I actually agree with Danielle
and
on that.
especially getting it out of Aaron Rodgers.
Right. Yeah.
Especially not letting Aaron Rodgers get the ball. So
right. So yeah, I agree with that too. If they do win the coin toss, it would be smart to take the ball, because then the game pace starts in their hands rather than in the Niners.
Yeah, I don't want the Niners doing a 10-minute drive and scoring a touchdown, and Green Bay gets the ball with 5 minutes left in the first quarter, down 7-0. And if they end up going 3 and out or settling for a field goal, the whole momentum of the second quarter is now in the Niners' favor.
Right.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I want to give Joe over here a moment. Everyone, Joe is a Buffalo Bill fan. All right. And before I let you talk, I want to say something about the Bills, because I like you said early on that you're like, kind of a closet Packer fan. You're never over the Bills, but like, you bought stock in the Packers, and I think Packers and Bills fans are I think we have a pretty good relationship, because Bills fans are loyal, Packer fans are, and Bills fans are very similar. We don't crash through tables.
And drunk.
Yeah, we know how to party. Small market, loyal even during the losing seasons. We don't abandon. Our stadiums are full no matter what. I mean, it's been a while for the Packers, but back in the '80s, Packers were filling up the stadium. The Bills have been getting beat down severely by the Patriots for so long. So like I mentioned this, whatever it was, a few days ago when I was live, and I said, I want the Bills to put a beat down on the Patriots. I didn't think it was going to happen. I didn't think they would lose, but I didn't think it was, I don't know. Maybe Bills fans predicted that. I didn't predict the Patriots just totally beat down. I haven't seen a beat down like that since I watched the video of me getting beat down at recess in the 9th grade. That's the last time I saw a beat down like that. The Bills absolutely embarrassed them. I don't think Belichick has ever got beat up like that, especially by a division rival. I think it was cool for Bills fans to be able to enjoy that, because I remember the Packers back in the day, they weren't in the playoffs for like 30 years, and when they finally we're starting to get good, the Cowboys and Niners, all these teams were beating up on them. It took a while for us to come up and actually beat them, but like it wasn't even that bad, because I'm not sure like what the division was doing for the Packers back. Obviously, the Bears were beating the hell out of the Packers forever because they were a really good team in the 80s. But I don't remember. I was young. But like the Patriots have been put into the Bills, and I'm happy for the Bills fans. And I want to give Joe here a moment to gloat, talk trash, and let me know what it feels like for a Bills fan to finally get the redemption that they deserve. You know what I mean? Have the floor. Say what you got to say, and gloat a little bit.
I appreciate it, Matt. So, that was 20 years of frustration, I think, that McDermott and the Bills took out, on New England Saturday night. So where it kind of starts for me is last year, of course, the Bills swept the Patriots, the 2 games they played, but it never really got much credit because the Patriots weren't, they weren't anything last year. They had Cam was playing terrible. This year they move on with Mac Jones after the draft, and then, they start winning some games, and the division's looking a little tighter again. And everybody's kind of placing New England back in the spot of AFC East, supremacy. And then, of course, the first meeting this year was the windstorm, where it was the winds were like around 50 miles an hour. And Allen, you could tell with Allen throwing the ball, regardless of how strong that kid's arm is, it was still it couldn't cut through that wind. And Matt could probably speak of some experience in that. Maybe not in the Arena League. I guess there's probably no wind in there, is there? But
got an outdoor story for you, actually.
Right? Yeah,
So.
but then they move on to the next time they play in New England, and Buffalo smacks them around. But there were still so many New England writers and journalists up there who were just saying that Allen's not it. Yada yada. The Patriots still own the East, and so that playoff game that meant a lot to that organization and the fans, of course, because I think what Josh Allen did in that game was basically looked at Bill Belichick and said, "This is the East's ours now. Like you got to come through here if you want to win this division."
It's like Captain Phillip, right? He's like, I'm the captain now.
I'm the captain now. Yeah, exactly.
If a Bills fan didn't make that meme, and you don't have good meme makers in Bills Nation or Bills Mafia, because that meme should have been made with the whole head on it.
There was
the captain now.
There was one meme that I will touch on before I stop my Bills gloating. During that game, and actually this dates back, and I kind of talked to you a little bit about this pre-show, but when Brady was just carving up the Bills, twice a year for 20 years or whatever it was, exhausting. It kind of became like this tradition at a Bills game where somebody, and it's happened more than once now, they throw a dildo onto the field and they write on it with a Sharpie, Tom Brady's mouthpiece. Well, during the playoff game, Kendrick Bourne scores a touchdown. Sex toy makes it to the field, and there was actually a really good meme that came with that, and it showed a picture of that, and it said dildo on the field at this week's Bills game, and then a picture of Jackson Mahomes, and it says dildo on the field next week's Bills game. I can get behind that. I think Jackson Mahomes, the hate for him is starting to unite some fans around the NFL.
Oh yeah, I see all the hate for him. I saw a picture of the ref, booting that thing like he was Mason Crosby in the fourth quarter. Like, but yeah, dude, the Bills won. I'm happy for you. So I want to talk about these later games, and I'm going to get to Matt and Danielle and talk about the NFC, what they think is going to, happen. Obviously, what we all know what we think is going to happen with the Packers, but like with the other game. But let me ask you this: how do you see the AFC playing out going forward? And who's going to? I mean, I kind of have a guess of who you think is going to be in the Super Bowl representing the AFC. And if it happens to be Packers Bills, me and you are going to have to have a lot of shows. We're going to have to do a lot of stuff. We're going to have to
I don't. It's tough to say. The Chiefs really started to click towards the middle of the season and all the way to the end. What my hope is that progress they started to make, I hope it started just a little bit too soon. Buffalo did go in there early in the season. I think it was maybe week 3 or 4. They went to Arrowhead and they beat them by 18. I think it was 38-20 was the final score. Just Allen looked like they were getting some redemption from the AFC Championship last year. But this is playoff time. It's a whole different atmosphere. Everybody's record is the same, and you get a 1 in the loss column, you're gone. But I like the matchup. I think that the weakness of Kansas City on defense is their secondary, and that's something that Allen's proven he can expose. The Bills had the first perfect game in NFL history last week.
Dude, that was wild. Like I was saying, that Bills team looked ridiculously good, and I don't like really have I don't have second favorite teams, but there's some teams like you see. And you're just like, I'm happy for the fans because like I'm a true fan, like I'm a diehard fan, and Bills fans, like Browns fans, like there's certain fan bases that you just be like, man, they deserve it because they like I have no respect for for Viking fans. There's certain I won't name them all because I don't want to be rude, but there's certain fan bases I don't respect because they're gone when things get bad, and like I have no respect for that. And I get it, people, they're in LA and they're in like all these like big towns, they got better stuff to do, but like. You shouldn't call yourself a diehard fan, like if you're not there, like when they're 4-12, right. When the quarterback gets hurt, you stop watching because the team is done, and when they got to rebuild, Packers don't rebuild, but I'm just saying other teams. But
what I think brings Bills and Patriots, wow, nothing brings Bills and Patriots fans together. What I think brings Bills and Packers fans together is the small market love for the team. It's just we aren't New York City. We aren't LA. Like,
Yeah.
these bigger markets where fans are far more spread out. We're a tight-knit group, in Buffalo, same in Green Bay. And I just think that that's what these two fan bases have so much in common. Because you look at the other small market teams like Jacksonville, and they can't sell out a playoff game. Like it's just they just don't have the following. Like they also don't have the history that Buffalo and Green Bay
I think
have.
that's exactly what it is with teams. It's the history. It's like ingrown. You know what I mean? Like if you're a Packer fan, like you get brought home from the hospital wearing a Packer onesie. Like your uncles and your family, they're all watching Packer. And the same thing with Bills and a lot of other, Steelers and like a lot of these great franchises. Like it's like you don't have a choice. Like I didn't decide to be a Packer fan.
Is sports betting?
It was like my uncles would have beat me down if I chose anyone else.
Is sports betting legal in Wisconsin?
No, I mean it's limited. You can't like straight up bet.
So you can't get on a FanDuel app or DraftKings or any of that.
Yeah, I think you could do some things.
Okay,
I've been trying to figure it out.
Regarding
some money.
Regarding the other AFC matchup this weekend, I love Cincinnati beating Tennessee. I really do. I think that Tennessee can be extremely one-dimensional, regardless of AJ Brown and Julio. They still have a quarterback named Ryan Tannehill, and I like quarterback matchups. It's a lot of how I could see who's going to win a game. And Burrow is just playing outstanding football, and that kid's going to have an amazing career. The Bengals are going to be contenders for years to come, I do believe. But I like the Bengals winning that game. And if that works out and Buffalo can get past Kansas City, that means an AFC championship in Buffalo. And I don't think there's enough tables being produced for an event like that to happen.
No, there's mass production. Amazon is going crazy right now. They're like, let's get some tables. Let's get
For the record, I've never been put through a table before.
Dude, I would if the Packers are in the Super Bowl against the Bills, I'm going through a table, and I'm probably going directly to the hospital because like my body ain't it don't work like that. I'm a very weak person. Like I hurt my knee sometimes getting out of bed in the morning. It takes me like a half hour. Walk it off. You know what I mean? Like I call in sick. What happened? I got out of bed, twisted my knee. I don't know what happened. I think my ankle's going out as we talk on the phone. Like it's just not working out for me today. You know what I mean? Like I'm a very weak individual. I don't know how athletes do it. Like I remember back in the day, I'll say it. Back in the day, I remember Dennis Miller used to do Monday Night Football back in the very brief.
Didn't go well.
Yeah.
One of my favorite jokes from him is a player got hurt. And he said, whatever, Billy Sims or whatever the name was, he said has a minor groin injury. Because I don't know about you, but there ain't no groin injury that's minor. and to this day, that's like the funniest thing I've ever heard on football. Because that's kind of what it is for me. Like, the average person, I work at a cheese factory. I get hurt. Like, first of all, there is no minor groin injury. I've never had a groin injury, but like if I did, like I don't know what that is.
It's just an injury.
Yeah, that's put me out. I'm gonna be at FMLA. I'm taking time off of work. Anyways, we're gonna get back into football. This thing. We're gonna go to Danielle. All right. So how do you see? What do we got? We got next week. It's gonna be the Bucks and the Rams. Who do you see coming out of that thing?
I think the Rams can you hear me well right now?
I got you.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. I think the Rams can, based on what we saw last night, I think they can get it done. The couple things that I worry about is Stafford's probably going to Stafford at some point. I feel like, I don't know. Yeah, I just feel like Stafford is going to be the key to either them losing or winning. If Stafford's plays well, I think they can do it. If he Staffords and throws interceptions, I think they lose the game. I think it comes down to him, whether he can continue to play in the bright lights and the big stages.
And like last week or whatever the other day, I think it was yesterday. What day is it? I don't know. But yeah, like the Rams played lights out. If they do that, like I don't think that they're gonna. I don't think that they can do that every week. But like, yeah, if they do that, the Bucks got like some work to do.
But I mean, the Rams and Bucks, right? I got that right. And I also feel like the Bucks can stop Akers from running. If they stop him from running and force Stafford to have to throw, I think that could maybe cause some issues just because of Stafford and like I said, the big stages. And Tampa Bay is very good at stopping the run. They're good at getting the pressure on the quarterback. So it's going to be interesting. I think the Rams can do it, and I hope they do it. But I mean, Tampa's going to give them some issues. I think they're going to be able to stop Akers from running like he did last night, and I think they're going to be able to get pressure on Stafford. But like I said, I do think they can do it if Stafford plays a good game.
Yeah, I think that Stafford, like I actually like Stafford. I think he's a tough guy. I think you know, he's all the things that you want a quarterback, but he's gonna give you a few gifts every now and again. He's gonna he's gonna put the ball in danger zone. I actually like him. I think he's a good quarterback, but he's also he's gonna give Aaron Donald on defense. He's gonna choke out a few guys every now and again. That's just what's gonna happen. He's gonna try to sack the quarterback, and if he can't, he's choking the offensive lineman at some point during that game. I like him. He's an absolute baller. But every now and again, he's like I gotta choke people every now and again. You know what I mean? I've never choked anyone my whole life. I don't feel like I have what it takes to choke someone. I feel like you really got to have confidence to choke someone. I feel like as soon as I went for the neck, they would just knee me right in my situation, and I would drop. It wouldn't end good. I would never try to choke someone. I think you really got to have, just grab someone. I feel like the knee's coming up. I'm going down before I even hit like a vocal cord. You know what I mean? Anyways, let's bring quarterback Matt back in the building. So we established that we think the Packers are going to beat the Niners. Who do you think wins that game? The Bucks, Rams. I think it's going to be first of all, I think it's going to be a very, very good football game. Who do you think? And what has to happen? For this thing to happen, like who do you want to win, and who do you think is gonna?
Well, to be honest with you, I mean, at this point, I really wanted to see Arizona go against Tampa because I felt like with Kyler Murray, they had a potential possibility of giving Tampa some nightmares, but obviously Arizona played so flat last night. And, honestly, we saw a perfect example of the great coach that Sean McVay is. And that's one thing that does worry me if Green Bay goes against the Rams is I have flashbacks to 2004 when we played Minnesota twice in the regular season, beat them 34-31 with 2 Ryan Longwell field goals in each of those games, the same score in Minneapolis and the same score in Lambeau. They came into Lambeau and beat us in that playoff game. Sean McVay is a kind of coach that can scheme up stuff. And really, I wouldn't be surprised if they put up points in Tampa. I worry about them traveling all the way to Tampa from LA. And maybe there's something there, but the key for me, the biggest thing in that game is I want to know what the health of Tristan Wirfs is. If he doesn't play in that game, that Bucs O-line could be a little banged up going in against that Rams front. And, Von Miller's even a part of that Rams front along with Aaron Donald. And you got Leonard Floyd as well. So there's a lot of good pass rushers. They gave Kyler Murray some fits last night as well. So, that'll be interesting to see that. I do think that if Cam Akers can run the ball, that'll be great. But also they got Sony Michel. So they got 2 great running backs that can really, run that football. And everyone was talking about how the Bucs have not been the Bucs rush defense the last few weeks. And, it's not the same as what it was last year. People got to understand that Devin White and Levante David have been injured for a while. And the Eagles had the number 1 rushing attack for a long time, and they couldn't do anything on Sunday as soon as Levante David and Devin White were back. It looked like the same old Bucs defense again. Honestly, they did what they were supposed to and made Jalen Hurts basically say, like, hey, I'm going to have to throw the ball and make plays, and he couldn't. And so personally, I don't think there's necessarily a better matchup. I honestly want to play Brady just so we can beat the Bucs and say that we beat them. And that's just me. But honestly, like I look at both of these teams and I think, really you got one's a West Coast team and one's an East Coast team. So the cold's pretty much the same for both. And yeah, you got Stafford as opposed to Brady. So that's kind of the difference. And I'm still wondering if the Bucs are going to get Leonard Fournette back. If they get him back, that's a huge boost to that offense and that running game that has already been looking pretty decent with Giovanni Bernard. And, he's been kind of their check down pass guy too. And, things like that for Brady. But if they get Leonard Fournette back, that's a whole nother weapon. And we haven't really seen them use Le'Veon Bell. I know they signed him. So, we'll see. I think both teams have a lot of weapons and both teams can match up with Green Bay. But again, they're coming to Lambeau. And if Green Bay just plays responsible football and turnover-free football, which we lead the league in, the least amount of turnovers, we can beat anybody. It's just a matter of what Green Bay's mentality is when they strap on the pads and go out there on game day.
Yeah. And like, I'll say this, like when it comes to like who I want to play, because with the Rams and the Bucks, like I don't know who's going to win that game. Like it depends what teams show up. If the Rams that play the Cardinals show up, they might win. Like any Brady-led team, like, and it's not just Brady. Because Brady, Brady threw 3 picks in the NFC Championship game last week or last year. Like he got the credit. That defense played phenomenal. The defense, didn't let Aaron Rodgers in that offense take advantage of those turnovers. And but like I don't know that there's something about him, like his leadership maybe affects the defense too. Like you just can't count Brady out unless he's playing the Packers, because he's definitely going down that game. But the Rams are an interesting team, because when I think about who I want to play. The Packers knocked the Rams out of the playoffs last year, and most of those players are still there. Aaron Donaldson, a lot of those guys are still there. So they feel that the same way the Packers feel how the Bucks knocked them out of the NFC Championship. So they got that. If the Bucks if the Rams come to Lambeau Field, they're gonna be ready. They're gonna be like hungry for that. And then obviously the Packers beat the Rams this year as well. So like the Rams are gonna be hungry. The Bucks I'd like to beat just because of what happened last year. And I just like to shut the Bucks fans up, and not even the Bucks fans, or the Patriot fans. Patriot fans are riding dude. You get one freaking team. You get one team. Like when Brett Favre went over to the Jets, I supported Favre. I was like, hey, have at it. You know what I mean? I didn't buy a Favre Jets jersey and like I'm a Jets fan if the Packers don't do well. That's bullcrap. You get one team. Yeah, you support your guy and be like, hey, no hate. Go and get your thing, and give a little clap when he does well. But like, don't ride on it. Don't be buying Bucks gear. The Patriots lose. I saw videos of Patriot fans like, whoa, we still got Brady. Like, no, your team lost, bro. Your team lost. You're done. Like, yeah, you can be happy if Brady does well, but don't jump on another team. You get one team. You get one team.
Matt, go easy on the Patriot fans a little bit, because a lot of them can't name players on the team pre-Brady. So you got to keep that in mind, that they were miserable in the 90s and the 80s, and that that fan base grew pretty big once the the Brady era began. Just to add to the Bucks-Rams game, I think another matchup that could become a nightmare for the Bucks is the emergence of Beckham Jr. He's really like starting to turn his career around there. He looks like he's playing football and enjoying it again, which he hasn't looked like that guy in a really long time. And I've never been a fan or a supporter of him, but we all know what he's capable of when he's playing at a high level. He's one of the top receivers in the NFL. And every week that's gone by, the last 3-4 weeks, he looks like he's getting more and more comfortable in that system, more and more comfortable with Stafford. And all that's doing is now you have to pick and choose who you're going to cover here, Cooper Kupp or OBJ.
Yeah, I give him props for like handling his business. He never ripped off his jersey and like ran off the field. Did a little
give him time.
A little goodbye dance.
Give him
he hasn't
time.
Fought no nets in a while. See, I don't have a problem with like wide receivers like T.O. celebrating with the pom-poms and popcorn on his head. Ocho Cinco back in the day doing all the things he did. I have no problem. That's entertainment. That's why I watch football. I want to be entertained. But like, there's certain things you can't do. Like, don't choke people. You know what I mean? That's just. I feel like they should teach you that as a rookie coming in. You know how they have the rookie camp and they like teach people like stuff like, hey, be careful with your money. People are gonna try to rob you. And if you're on the football field, don't choke nobody, and don't rip your jersey off and run across the field while the players are still in the field doing a little dance. And don't like. There's certain things. Don't fight the field goal net. The kicker needs that to practice. We don't need to be over there boxing. But no, it's all entertainment to me. So I don't get mad like the antics, but certain things, like as long as it doesn't hurt the team. Like when you start, like obviously Antonio Brown's situation was different. Like he basically gave his notice. Like I'm not gonna like he quit football like how I quit jobs in my 20s. You know what I mean? Like as a young guy, when I quit jobs, like it wasn't no 2-week notice. Like I was like, hey, where's the bathroom, bro? And then like that was like the last time they saw me. Like they had to mail me my check. There is no notice. I didn't like dance away or nothing, but I just slid out the back door and be like, they were looking around for me for a while before they found out I don't work there no more. But I don't even know what I'm doing. I'm rambling. But so let's before we end this thing, let's hear our final Super Bowl predictions. We'll start with quarterback Matt. What do you got? What is who's gonna be playing in the big game? And even furthermore than that, let's get more in detail, more than just who's gonna win the Super Bowl, who's gonna win a Super Bowl, and who's gonna be the Super Bowl MVP. And who are they gonna play against too?
Yeah, I think if Green Bay plays their ball and keep the, I love how Rodgers did like a playoff hype video. Like I've never seen that in any years, and no team really has done that. He's narrating our playoff hype video. Means they won it. It means that there's a want to out there that Green Bay wants. And, I'm going to be a little biased, and I think I'm going to say our Packers are going. And I think if they play their football, and we're the most healthy team, Ian Rappaport even said that today, that he's never seen a team be this healthy or get their guys back at the right time.
Yeah, at the last.
Yeah, he was talking about that today, and I was like, that's an interesting point right there. And then I'm going to be honest. I said this at the beginning of the season that the only team that I feel like in the AFC could beat the Chiefs is a Derrick Henry-led Titans team. From what I'm hearing, it sounds like he's healthy. I actually do like Tennessee to pound the rock and beat Cincinnati. I kind of think with the way the Bills played, they're going to give the Chiefs some fits on Saturday Sunday. They play Sunday night, and so to be honest with you, I kind of like the Titans to actually kind of be the team in the AFC Championship playing the Bills, and I actually kind of have a feeling that the Bills are going to the Super Bowl. I think their offense is dynamic. Their defense hasn't missed a beat, even with Tre'Davious White being injured. A lot of people aren't talking about that. I put a tweet out on the weekend that Micah Hyde is the one former Packer player that I miss absolutely so much. Like I wish he can play corner, he can play safety, he can tackle, he can cover. His ball hawk skills are amazing. He can return on punt and kicks. Like the dude does it all. Like everything that you would want, that guy can do. The other guy I got to give a shout out to is he lives not too far from me. Lives in my city of Omaha, Nebraska. Is Harrison Phillips, D tackle for
Dirty Harry.
He played high school ball here in Omaha. Lives just down the street from me. We actually work out at the same gym. Great guy. We've been a part of a lot of the same camps together and know a lot of the same people. Great dude, great guy. He's up for the Man of the Year award for the Bills too. But I really like how he came in and really just replaced, retired Kyle Williams at D tackle. So, I really think Harrison Phillips is really eating up that zero, that one technique, that, two technique right there in that middle of the O-line and really just doing his part. So I like the Bills. I really like this team. I think they can go in and stop Mahomes better than the Chiefs defense can stop Josh Allen. And I'm just being honest. I don't think the Chiefs have enough guys in their secondary to stop the Stephon Diggs, Cole Beasley, Emmanuel Sanders, and even Dawson Knox. Like he's kind of criminally underrated as a tight end, lately. I would say right now the two most criminally underrated tight ends in the league are CJ Uzomah of the Bengals and Dawson Knox of the Bills. Like hands down, those guys are so underrated.
I agree with that because I don't know who they are.
So
but I'll say, dude, Josh Allen is a freaking wizard. Like, I tweeted this out, and people are like, I remember because like Josh Allen did like some crazy thing. He like ran to his right, ran to his left. I forget exactly what he did, but he was like by the sideline. He kind of threw it across his body, and it was a completion or maybe a touchdown. I don't remember. I think I was drinking that night. But like I remember tweeting that like Josh Allen is a wizard, and Packer fans are coming in like, well, Aaron Rodgers can do that. I'm like, yeah, he can. But like, dude, like if you see greatness, I think Josh Allen is showing sparks, more than sparks. But he's a young guy or whatever. But like he's showing like he can be that cover of Madden. He can be what everyone is talking about Mahomes being. He's got the wide receivers. He's got the thing. You know
They
what I
have
mean? Like,
packages for him running the ball. I mean, he runs the read
Yeah.
option. They literally have packages for this man to run the
Yeah.
ball and take on a linebacker. Like, who does that in the
Yeah.
NFL at quarterback?
He's
afraid.
yeah, he is a freak of nature, and not like how I am, but in the good way. But all right, so we'll go to Danielle next. Who do you got in the Super Bowl, and who is going to be your MVP? I don't think Matt said who the MVP is. I assume he's going to say Aaron Rodgers because obviously they're beating the Bills in the Super Bowl.
They like quarterbacks in the NFL, unless some guy like Jair gets a pick six in the game, and because I mean, unless it's some big thing like a pick six
Yeah, it
or
would have to
something,
be like for a
right?
quarterback not to win MVP. It has to be either a team that doesn't have a quarterback and
Yeah,
it's like a
I
running
mean,
type of game, or the
go back
quarterback.
to the '96 Super Bowl. Reggie White broke the sack record. Favre had 3 touchdowns, and Desmond Howard had a clutch kick return against the Patriots, and he wins the MVP.
Yeah,
Go
because it
back
kind
to
of like
1996 Super Bowl 31. It
yeah,
was Desmond Howard, but Reggie
yeah,
White
and it
went
kind of
nuts.
like changed the game. I think that's kind of
Yeah,
how they viewed it. Like kind of put it away, kind of like
exactly.
made it. But yeah, it doesn't happen often. Like it has to be some kind of freak. Like I say, you either have to have like a Rex Grossman quarterback. Obviously, they didn't win a Super Bowl, but they were there. You either have to have that Trent Dilfer type of quarterback, and the defense is a baller, and you have a
Yeah,
great running game. Those types of
yeah.
situations. Otherwise, it's always going to be the quarterback. Whoever wins the game, unless it's on Nickelodeon, then the losing quarterback gets it. But so what do you got, Danielle? Who's going to win a Super Bowl, and who you got as MVP?
I think the Packers will go as long as what Matt said, as long as they play their game, as long as they're disciplined. Aaron Rodgers is on a mission this year. And like you said, with the narrating of the playoff video, he's just different. He's always got that fire in his eyes, but this year's different for him. All the things that are being said about him, I feel like he's got the biggest chip on his shoulder this year and a lot to prove, kind of, because we haven't been to the Super Bowl in a long time. If they do make it and win it, I believe, I mean, it is a quarterback award, so he probably would get it. If not, I'm gonna go say Russell Douglas was something crazy.
Oh, that's
That's an
actually a good
Pick
oddball.
point.
six at the very
That's
end.
actually a good point. If it's a close game, that dude, he's like a freak with the ball. He's like MacGyver with the ball. He's like he's got magnet hands and the ball's metal. He just goes and gets that thing, you know?
For the AFC, I'm hoping. I'm from Buffalo as well. Joe and I just found out we're only. Well, I mean, I say Buffalo because it's what everybody knows. I'm right outside of it, about an hour or so away. And we just found out we only live about 20 minutes from each other. Never met each other in our lives. I could be there in 15 minutes. So I'm around all the Bills fans every day, all day, and it's weird, and I think it is because we're such a small market team. We all like to drink. We all like to have fun. We're all very loyal to our teams. It just seems that if the Bills are not in contention, or either way around, the Packers fans vote or not vote. They root on the Bills. The Bills root on the Packers. I've definitely seen that around here. So I'm hoping it's going to be Bills and Packers. I think that would be awesome for around where I'm at here. I'm going to get a lot of crap for it if they were to win. I would never hear the end of it, but
That's what I'm
they
saying.
deserve it. The Packers deserve it. So that's what I'm hoping, and I really think the Bills can give it to Kansas City.
Yeah, I actually agree. But like we think about this, like how the Packers and Bills fans, they kind of vibe together. You know what I mean? Like I don't think any Packer fan, like not every Packer fan, I don't think like props up the Bills, but like I don't think no one hates the Bills. You know, no one hates the Bills fans, not no Packer fans. But if they meet in a Super Bowl, they're on both sides it might change some things because like who like if you go to the Super Bowl first of all and you lose, like I hate the Broncos to this day. Like the Super Bowl 32, I was like 16 17 years old. I barely remember the game. I remember it happened, but I might have been under drinking that day. I don't know.
And
But
we'll hate each other forever.
but like and then the Broncos tried to steal my quarterback this last offseason. So me and the Broncos, that just like revived my hatred for the Broncos. John Elway is still lingering around the hallways. Now he's trying to steal my quarterback. So me and the Bronco fans, till the day I die, we are not good. We are not vibing. You know what I mean? No hate for Broncos fans. Just hate your franchise. You know what I mean? So, let me get you in here, Joe. I didn't get to you yet, did I? Who do you? I think I know who you think is going to win a Super
Well,
Bowl.
I'm gonna start with the NFC though, and I think
Right.
everybody here has said that Aaron Rodgers is like on a mission this year,
Yeah.
and I
Yeah.
fully agree with that. And I think a lot of it is because of a lot of the sideshow stuff that's been going on, the whole media thing, the COVID thing, where fans across the world are just blowing something completely harmless out of proportion. I went on a huge rant on my podcast about the way that he labeled a liar and all of that, when the reality of it was he owes nothing to the media. He owes nothing to the fans about what his status about anything is. And his employer, the Green Bay Packers, they knew his situation. The NFL, they knew his situation. They had a hearing on it in late August or early September. So everybody there knew. The people who needed to know knew. And I think that has just juiced him up so much. All the negative stuff that he's getting, and he's kind of embracing this, like, they want to make me a bad guy, a villain.
He's like Hulk Hogan in his late years.
He is. He's like
Scarface. You want to see the bad guy?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's like when Hulk Hogan joined NWO and came out with a drawn on black
remember
beard.
that.
Yeah. So I just think he's like embracing that, and he's so blocking all of it out to the point where he's just still lighting it up on the field. I just think Green Bay is going to be really, really difficult to beat, and especially when all the games have to go through there. We're at the coldest part of the year. We're on the upswing of days getting longer, but we're still at a point where it's going to be cold. And you look at the remaining teams who are left. You have a Los Angeles team, a Bucs team, and a San Francisco team. None of them guys are used to loving cold weather, except for minus Brady because of his experience in New England. But it's going to be tough to beat Green Bay. I know that they've struggled in some NFC championships here for a little while. I think that this is the year that streak comes to an end. On to the AFC. This is a show about being a homer, right, Matt? So I'm gonna go. I'm going that route. Yeah, I'm going that route.
And you should be. You should be a homer. And first of all, it's not even really being a homer. Like, there's no reason to think the Bills can't.
Bills don't have a shot. You're right.
Yeah, there's no reason. There's no reason to say like they don't have a chance. Like the Bills, what they did to the Patriots. Like the Patriots aren't slouches. Like they didn't beat the Eagles and some of these the Steelers. Yeah. And not that the Patriots are the world beaters, but they deserve to be in the playoffs. They had a good year or whatever, and people can talk about who they played. But like that's their nemesis. That's Bill Belichick. Bill Belichick has beat teams better than him throughout his career. Like he has beat better teams because he's a better coach than everyone. So like,
I think
they beat the hell out of them
since 2017. Since 2017, this culture that Sean McDermott and Brandon Beane have been building up in Buffalo is just being embraced by these players. They are completely bought in to what is going on. Allen is playing, and we'll get to Allen in a minute, but Matt talked about Harrison Phillips, where I just read a quote from him the other day, and I can't say it verbatim, but it was along the lines of just how this team is a family, and they're really bought into what McDermott's selling them. The defense, like you said with Harrison Phillips, him and Ed Oliver and Harrison Phillips are both having probably the best years of their careers so far. Getting up the middle, plugging the holes, getting to the quarterback. They're doing it all. And Josh Allen, my thing with Josh is that I don't. And it's not like I've known a large group of NFL players personally or anything like that, but you can see a competitive fire in players. Like you can kind of scale that as a fan when you're watching these guys long enough. And I don't know that I've ever seen anybody as competitive as Josh Allen. I mean, he shows some poor sportsmanship sometimes because he gets so pissed off while he's playing if something's going wrong. That's something I've noticed, but I think he's kind of dialed that back a little bit. But a lot of reporters and analysts are hesitant to put him in the Patrick Mahomes category. Yeah. And I think that is driving him absolutely bananas.
Yeah.
And
Put some
he's gonna
respect on my name.
exactly. And you're never he's the kind of guy though, you're never gonna hear him say those words.
Yeah,
He's
I'll
just
say
gonna
it.
go out there. He's just gonna go out there and make it happen. And that's what I love about Josh Allen. And I just I think that this team is now for real. They're a contender. You know, I mentioned the Bengals being a contender for years to come. I think the Bills are here to stay for a little while.
Oh
As
yeah,
long as he's under center, anything can happen. So yeah, I'd love to see a Green Bay Buffalo matchup. And this is where I'm going to lose everybody in your comment section.
yeah.
Bills 34, Packers 31, Allen MVP.
All right, that's why. All right, it's
I
fun
think the
having you
Bills have
on.
the best defense. The Bills
All right,
have the best balanced defense in the playoffs right now.
and
Because I look at the Bucks, they have a bad defense, as far as corners are concerned. So,
I'm just kidding.
Kick me out.
Yeah, we had to kick him out because he said the Bills are gonna.
That's
no,
fine.
but no, I'm kidding. But yeah, the Bills are a good football team. They're not gonna beat the Packers in the Super Bowl. But if the Packers and the Bills go to the Super Bowl, first of all, dude, that's gonna be a clash of the best fans in the league. Whenever there's a fan vote, it's always the Bills or the Packers. Bills fans are pretty heavy on social media, so they win a lot of those. But I won't say the Packers are better, but I feel like they're pretty even. Like they're Bills suck since like forever, and they were always
no doubt.
they were. I don't mean that as a diss, but
no,
like
trust me.
they stayed with them, and they're
nothing.
Like, they didn't up because Josh Allen. Like a lot of teams, guys, fans pop up because the team gets. I'm not gonna name them. Not today, but someday I will. Or sometimes I feel like it. I'm being nice today. I'm not gonna call out a fan base. That'd be rude. But I appreciate y'all coming on. We got quarterback Matt. He played arena football. He knows a little thing about football. He broke it down. Let us know the things that he said. I have to pee so bad right now. This is insane. I've never had to pee so bad. Danielle took a bathroom break. She comes back. She's all feeling good. She's all spicy. But we got Danielle join us. We got Joe, the Beehive podcast he does. He does a great job. He doesn't just talk about the Bills. He talks about all NFL teams. He talks about all happenings in the NFL world. He does a great job over there. Everyone should check out the Beehive podcast. And we got quarterback Matt. Do you do any podcasts and stuff, Matt?
Yeah, actually, I do some different stuff with that. I absolutely love, breaking down football and things like that, and help out, with my parents. They run a church here in Omaha, so I definitely am involved with that. And then, I coach football, obviously, on the side as well, run some quarterback camps, got some guys in the National Football League that I'm pretty close with and good friendships there. And so we run football camps, former and past, players and things like that. So I enjoy that, man. Like, do some Zoom calls, break down film with, quarterbacks. Like Saturdays in the fall are super busy for me because all the high school kids, are like, want the film, to be analyzed from the night before. And I'm like, well, this is why you threw that interception. You threw it into the flat on a cover 2, or, you tried to throw to the deep middle on a cover 3, and, sit down and break it down with them and things like that. So, it's a good time. And, when you can balance a lot of fun things in life, I enjoy that. I will say one little funny thing, though, regarding the wind you were talking about earlier, Joe. And you mentioned, you don't really get that indoors. Well, an outdoor story for you. I was throwing a tight end out route, and it was pouring rain. So my towel's soaked. I got my hands in my hand warmer, just walking the line of scrimmage. I take the snap, and this guy is wide open in the flat, okay? And which is odd because if it's raining, you would think teams would stack the box, not play a, cover 4 or, 4 guys deep and bail their corners. You'd have somebody sitting in the flat. So I throw this out route to him, and there was no wind really or anything, just pouring rain. All of a sudden, as soon as I let go of the ball, and I mean, I threw it hard at the guy, this huge wind gust comes. I mean, huge wind gust. You'd think like a tornado or something blew in. This huge wind gust comes in and blows the ball behind the line of scrimmage. Like here I am throwing a 5 to 7 yard out route, and this gust takes it. And I just see the ball go straight behind me. And the ref didn't blow the whistle, calls it a live ball. I'm running and jumping on the ball at that point. Just soaked, my uniform soaked, everything. Guys jumping on top of me trying to get the ball. And that's one thing too. if you're ever under a pile in a football game, oh my gosh, your eyes are poked. You got cleats getting stepped on you. They grab you in places they shouldn't grab you. Biting, all that stuff. People are trying to grab your face mask and twist your neck. And I'm telling you, and then you get 300-pound guys on you, and I'm sitting there at 200 pounds, and you got a guy with 100 pounds of weight on you. I can see what Rodgers feels like, if Vita Vea lands on him or something like that,
Yeah.
So it's definitely something that it's the hardest position in sports. Absolutely.
It definitely is. I never played any of the positions, but I would have to guess quarterback is, and maybe center. It seems tough. I was a center in flag football, and they was like, "You're a really good center. Why are you so good?" I'm like, I trip everybody. Like I just tripped the whole line. Everyone legs are out. They're like, I can't block nobody. It's flag football. What are you gonna do? There's no ref. It's like just like an older kid over there. Just like he's smoking a cigarette. He doesn't care.
Yeah. One last thing I want to say about Green Bay, though, and this is what I feel like their identity needs to be going forward. If they're going to make the Super Bowl, this is what they've got to do. I have a coach that I knew growing up, and he actually coached wide receivers for the Nebraska Cornhuskers. But before that, he coached at Fresno State. He was Devontae Adams' personal wide receivers coach when Derek Carr and Devontae played at Fresno. He's now the passing game coordinator for the Baltimore Ravens. His name is Coach Keith Williams, and we call him Dub. But he used to have me come and throw to like Devontae, Tyreek Hill, guys like that in the summer when he used to live in Nebraska. He would do off-season workouts, and I've posted about it on my Instagram and things like that. It was a crazy experience. It was really fun. But one thing he used to tell guys, and this is what I feel like Green Bay needs to understand going into the playoffs, is one thing he said is there's many great ways to do something, but there's one best way. And Green Bay needs to know that going into the playoffs. We have one best way. Stop searching so much for this and that out there and go to your identity. We're the one seed. What took us here? What got us to that one seed? And our identity is we got Aaron Rodgers. We got Devontae Adams. We got a crowd supporting us behind us this year. And this is Titletown, and it's time for teams to come into Titletown with a full Lambeau Field. It's not empty this year, and we need to understand what our identity is and the tradition that is the Green Bay Packers. And there's one best way. And to Danny's point earlier, run the football. You got A.J. Dillon, and make teams respect that. And we got enough weapons that teams are going to struggle to figure out how they're going to defend us. Do you load the box and stop Dillon and Jones? Do you play back and hope Scantling doesn't beat you over the top? Like, there's a lot of stuff. And as far as I'm concerned, we got the swaggiest quarterback in the league, and it's time to go beat teams. Let's go.
That's exactly it. All right, we're going to wrap this thing. I appreciate you, Matt, joining us. Danielle, Joe, I have to use the bathroom really bad. That was a great point, though, Matt. I totally agree. Just go out there and get it. Go out there and do it. That's what I'm about to do. All right. Go Pack, go people. Packers, NFC divisional round. 49ers, Lambeau Field. I'm going to be in row 3 right near the end zone. If you see me on TV, go take a picture, bro. I want to see myself on TV. Go Pack, go. I appreciate y'all. I had a blast, and you guys were all fantastic.
Thanks for having me, Matt.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thanks for having me.